Joined by Chris after a draw at Leek Town. Just firstly, give me your overall assessment of what you've just seen from your team today.
I think draw was the least we deserved, I'll be honest. Obviously, I think we knew after last week's performance there was probably a change of approach that was required, which we've sort of set the stall out early in the week on Tuesday, and then sort of the classroom presentation that we kind of did on Thursday in terms of how we were going to kind of change what we were doing to sort of where we thought we could target Leek and maybe sort of nullify their threats, because we know exactly sort of the areas that they're probably trying to look to work the ball into. And I thought we did our off the ball stuff absolutely diligently today. Really spot on. The work rate and the running and the talking and the togetherness of the group to kind of just follow those instructions all the way through the 90 was spot on. And then equally we knew where we felt we could probably exploit the areas for them, to try and get in behind. Sort of get the ball down and out wide, and I think, like I say, second half in particular, we created a number of really good opportunities. We probably could have and should have deserved a goal from one of those, and I don't think a win would have looked bad on us. But in terms of overall, and I've said to the girls in there, we don't normally celebrate draws, but we will for today because we're off and running. That was hard earned, depleted numbers. Lots of players not here today for various different reasons, so we've had to really come together as a group, and that was the best I've seen them in terms of how they were interacting before the game. I had a feeling actually that they might just come together a little bit, and I said to you before the game, I've just got a feeling that this might be the kind of game where they might click as a group, and that they've certainly done that. So yeah, look, great to come back. It's a long journey up here, so to come back with a point, pleasing.
And you've touched on it already, but obviously you just mentioned that you came with depleted numbers. You've come here and earned a hard-fought point at a place where they've just beat Port Vale as well. So to come here and get a clean sheet, get a first point on the board, it must be pleasing for you. Step in the right direction.
Yeah. Well, it was funny. It was the Port Vale game where we spoke afterwards. I said, look, we're not going to get rolled over by teams anymore. We're not going to be a team where you can just turn up and opposition can fill the boots and get their goal difference up. So if we can't win games, we're going to make sure that we're going to be really competitive in those. And I think we've seen that from the three results that we've had. We are competitive. We certainly looked more of a threat today than we have done in the previous two league games that we've had, which is a step in the right direction. And the group, with the numbers that we've had, new setup, new formation, new responsibilities, they've just nailed it and carried out the game plan exactly how we wanted it to kind of go. So, like I said, really pleased in that respect. That's all you can ask for from the coaching point of view, is that they listen and they carry out the instructions and the game plan. And like I say, I think the game plan was proven to be the correct one, and the approach that we were looking for was the right one. And like I say, another day we come away with 3 instead of 1, but we'll certainly take the 1 and run home down the M6.
And obviously you mentioned it's a good point on the road, so we're back, next game's obviously back at home against Shifnal. Different type of test. So what can you sort of expect, and what do you want them to build on from today?
I think what we've shown there is, when you're playing top of the league, you're not going to have a lot of the ball, so your off the ball stuff is really important, and I think we've shown there that we can be really difficult to break down, and we probably are going to have to suffer for a little bit, for a fair amount of that game. We don't know. We'll have a look and we'll have a think, but what we've shown is we can soak pressure up. Where we need to kind of close spaces, we can, and we are very dangerous on the counter attack now. So I think there's certainly something there for us to build on. And after Shifnal, we've got Cosfinks at home, so we've got an opportunity now just to put a couple of home games under our belts, build some form, build some momentum, and I think if we can get a positive result in at least one of those, we go into the new year sort of looking upwards rather than sort of wondering where the results are going to come from. So yeah, lots to continue to work on, but great platform from which to build on our football we've seen today.